It is Thursday, April 18, about 6:53 a.m. Pacific time. Just getting started here, and actually, let me turn this off for just a moment here. All right. So, just getting myself together here. Still a little bit before 7. I did take my first trade of the day, the opening trade, New York Open, and it worked real easily. In and out of the trade in just seconds. It's kind of funny because it was like price even actually hit my two profit target. Like it filled for a win before it even looked like it went there. It was different. But yeah, just continues to work. So starting the day off with a win every day for the past 7 days is really nice. And let's see here. I need to update the days traded. So that's 7 days traded on the Alpine Orb account, as well as 10 days traded on Evaluation 33. And then I took this one on a PA for the first time. So I tried to do that yesterday and I messed it up. Today I got the trade on. So copy trading to 3 accounts for the opening trade. And yeah, it was interesting because, it's kind of like the bottom of the whole day's range or the session's range from the session open. So I had that in mind as, wanting to make sure I'm outside of this enough, the close range, but also wanted to make sure I still had room that if it only made a new low and then bounced the other way, that I would have a good chance. It went much further, obviously, and went right through the gap of the previous day close. So another one for the win. Yeah, I gotta say, it feels great to start the day with 3 accounts in the green on one trade. A trade that I'm getting more and more confident in, and less hesitant to do this trade after seeing it just work time and time again. So that's the trade of the morning, and I've got 4 tick charts that I can be trading off of now for my regular strategy. And for anyone that doesn't know, my regular strategy is I look at multiple tick charts to find charts where every second entry works for my profit target for the whole session from session open the day before. And I look and try to get 3 or 4 of those charts, no matter what tick size charts they are. I just randomly look through tick charts, and when I find 3 or 4, those are the charts I trade off of, and then I will take trades off of them until the chart or I or both get the first loss of the session for the day, and then I will not use that chart anymore, and I move on to another chart. And I try to trade that way until about 9 or 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. So since I showed this, I'm going to change the account so the markers won't be there anymore on that, and have it set up for my normal strategy here. So I'm just going to turn this off one more time so I can change accounts. I just by accident placed an order. I didn't mean to, so I just deleted it, canceled it. All right. So this is where we are. I'm going to trade BA7 first, or as my next trade anyway. These charts messed up. Man, none of my charts are right. All right, this is more like it. These are the charts I wanted to play. I forgot to switch something. So these are my 4 charts. All right, so 10 a.m. Eastern now. Got started a little early on the stream. So it looks like this chart just went bad for me. So there's a first entry here, second entry above this red bar. Didn't go far enough for my scalp target. But 9 ticks only. So I'm just going to work with 3 charts now. For now. Not interested in trading in this area for longs for sure. Just no room to the previous day low. And this just failed on this chart now as well. First entry, second entry, right into the EMA and previous day close, or previous day low, failed. So this is another chart I will be putting away, which means I'm down to 2. Actually, I'm looking at this one had the same thing, new high, first entry long, second entry long here. This one actually went 12 ticks. So maybe I'll change to trade for 11 ticks on this chart. So we'll only be trading for 11 ticks on this chart at this point. And then can go for a little bit bigger on this chart still for now. Although this looks like it's the same problem. First entry, second entry above this red bar, likely to fail. So a difficult day for my strategy right off the bat in terms of charts working. All right. So actually this ended up working. So this chart is still good. So I've got 2 charts to work off of right now. I suppose I could look for a third potentially. Well, nothing is currently looking to be set up for a trade. All right, so I'm just looking for another chart to see if there's like a third chart I could be playing. Not finding anything so far. It's a little bit of a tricky thing about starting the stream a little earlier and trading my system a little earlier. I find that up until about 10 Eastern, even a little bit after 10:05, 10:10, a lot of times the charts will pick up a loss. And then if it makes it past that time, then a lot of times they stay good for a good while after 10, hour or two at least. So starting early, or even starting like right at 7 can be prone to pick up a loss on the chart pretty quickly, which is, I feel like, why sometimes when I get started at 7 or have gotten started at 7, I feel like I've picked up a loss in my first trade kind of often. Not so much, but it definitely happens. And so it's kind of better to just chill and wait until like around this time, like 7:10 on Pacific. It's just something I've kind of noticed for myself. I'm just not seeing any other charts right now that I can go with. So I have a new low here, first entry. Next time it ticks below, it could be second entry. If there's something like that right off of the previous day close, I would like it. Be nice if this comes up and tags it and then comes down and triggers a short. Measured move there as well to give it some extra confidence. All right, so this will be on PA7 if it triggers. And I will be moving my stop out of the way, so let's see what happens here. I like 570 in drawdown. So if I'm wrong in this spot, I'm willing to blow this account with the small drawdown. Or it's just not going to trigger. Let's see here. All right, got that one. Again, looks like slippage on the trade. Here, let me switch accounts and see. The second day in a row where I've gotten much less than what I should be getting there. I'm just gonna turn my display off real quick so I can switch accounts and see what the Apex account that I'm trading got filled at. All right, so I switched it to the Apex account to be able to see where it's saying I got filled, because I should have gotten filled at 41 and I got filled at 40. So I had a whole point of slippage on my entry. So that's why I only got a 0.75, 7 ticks. That's the same thing that happened to me yesterday, which is annoying. I mean, maybe since I'm not, since I'm not copying multiple accounts, maybe I just have to switch accounts every time I'm going to trade a new one and not use a sim leader. I don't know if that would have changed that or not, but this is the second day in a row where I've gotten 7 ticks instead of 11, which is really annoying. It's like a waste of a trade. Not a waste, but I'm only getting a little more than half of my profit. All right, so this was trade 2. PA7. The account that I'm trying to dig out of a hole, $30 at a time when this happens. Plus 7 ticks. 7 ticks would have liked it to be more. The trade clearly would have worked for more, regardless. All right, so update my stats here. Let's see, this is day 16. Traded. So as far as stats go, I mean, this week has been killer for me. 12-0. Hey there. Welcome, welcome. Marigel SK, is that Saggy or is that someone else? I forget when you use a different account, what the account name is. Hey Saggy. Are all of those comments you, or did you just switch accounts, or is that someone new that said hi, bro? Sorry, I'm still just a little bit annoyed that I didn't get my full profit target on this trade by 4 ticks. But how you doing, Saggy? How's your week been going? You haven't been around for a few days. All right, well, it's not the amount of profit I was hoping for the account, but I'm still going to move on to the next account. So that would be PA8. This really sucks doing it this way. I'm just gonna keep using the copier. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just easier. So if I get less ticks, I guess I get less ticks. All right, so PA8 will be the next one traded. Let me turn off my screen here one more time, switch off this account again. All right, just sticking with the copier. Saggy says, not trading. I came to my village, so no trading. My cousin died, so Monday I'll be here regularly. Wow, 12-0. Great. Congrats. Thanks, Saggy. Yeah, sorry to hear about that. That's sad news. But, yeah, it's been a good week for me. It's been a good week for me. Doing some things differently. Trading every morning the New York Open. Doing an open trade. And so that's been like really rock solid. So that's been really rock solid. You can see here the Alp Orb trade is now 7-0. Won with it 7 days in a row. So that's part of that 12-0. That's 4 of the 12 trades. But yeah, what is Alp Orb? So Alp Orb is, I've told you about Alpine Trader, who I follow on YouTube. He's the guy that's been absolutely crushing it on his Apex accounts. And he's made like $200,000 already this year on prop firms. So it's a trade that he does, and he doesn't really show it live on his stream, but it's essentially the New York Open trading the breakout in either direction that price might go. And he's made the majority of all of his profit from that one trade a day, and he copies like 20 accounts, sometimes up to 20 accounts on the single trade. And so that's how he's like just, pay period after pay period qualifying for payouts. So I kind of been, I've been watching him a long time, and he always talks about it and hints about it, and he doesn't show it live, but he's given enough information for me to figure out how to trade it. So I started trading it on this evaluation 36 for the first few times, and it was working. And so then, actually before that, I think before I ever took a trade on this account, what I did was I went on playback and I tested like 35 days or something. I forget exactly how many days on the first time I went on to playback, but I did some back testing on playback for I think 36 days in a row or something like that. And I think I was like 25-1, or maybe the first day I did it, I didn't even lose any. I forget, but it was like something ridiculous where I was like basically like 99% winning with it. So then I created this account. I actually got it with a code that was for a free account for a month. So I actually had no skin in the game trading with it. And so I started trading on this account. And then I did another day of, I did another day where I did some back testing on playback again and did like another 30 something trades or 40. I got up to like, including this account, including the Apex trades I was taking, I got to like, well, now including today's trade even, I'm probably at like 77-2, something like that. So it's like over 98% winning rate. So anyway, that's the Alp Orb. Basically, it's not a regular orb. So if you look up orb, it's not what a lot of people talk about. It's more stylized the way Alpine himself does it. And so I'm calling it the Alp Orb, just, homage to him, his concept. seem to have figured it out and it seems to be working for me so far. So today was actually the first time I took the trade on a PA account also. I copied it on to PA6 and then evaluation 36 and 33 were all that one single trade. On the PA, I only did it with one contract because it's a 25K account. And I did it with two contracts on the 50Ks. So as usual, like I always say, if you want more information about anything that Alpine is doing, I would say go check out Alpine Trader on YouTube. Always happy to send people his way. He's got like 16,000 subscribers now. And I've been watching him since he had like almost 4,000. Something like that, I think, if I remember correctly. And he hit 10,000 subscribers not that long ago, and now he's already at 16,000. So I think as he's been just getting tons of payouts on Apex and some of the other prop firms, his viewership has just grown like exponentially at the same time. Saggy says the win rate has increased from 80% to 81%. You're improving a lot, dude. Yeah. Well, when I was starting out with the system earlier on in the year, I was actually at like 83% for a while, for a good stretch. And then, and then in recent weeks, I've been picking up more losses. I think the markets just got hard. The charts were getting difficult. It wasn't, moving great for my system. And I think for whatever reason, this week has been great for me. I mean, 12-0. Last week, I think I had 5 losses. I forget. But I was actually looking and going back my last 25 trades now, including today. I think I'm 23-2 or 24-2 now, including today. What was I? I think I was 22-2 before today. So maybe I'm 24-2, I think is what it is for my last 26 trades. So it's a good stretch, but I know that losses are always potentially right around the corner. It's just an area I'm not willing to trade in right against the previous day close. Had a first entry, second entry long with plenty of room, but I just get a little bit, I don't like being that close. I mean, even though it worked easily, there was plenty of room for 11 ticks on this chart. Just didn't feel good about it. And on my other chart right now, we're right up against a new high, first entry long here. So see what happens on these charts. But yeah, I'm on a good little streak here. So I know, that can end at any time. A loss can always come. I'm hoping I can get past my next trade, PA8, with a win. And then if a loss comes on one of the evaluations, so be it, right? But yeah, choppy and ranged markets. So just being patient too. I think I found a little bit of a better balance recently between taking every entry as they come, which is what I had been doing for a while, like not applying any of my own analysis. And then I was struggling. Well, when I was picking up losses, then I was trying to apply my analysis and I was missing out on winning trades. And because of hesitancy or just, being fearful of getting a loss, or especially because I had that PA2 that was getting close to payout. And so I was always skipping trades and being hesitant because I was treating that account differently than other accounts. So I kind of had a revelation when I lost that account, when it blew up. I was so fearful of losing it, so fearful of getting losses, so fearful because I was so close to a payout. And then what was the outcome? The outcome was I lost the account. I didn't get the payout. And so I just had this kind of revelation of like, I really can't trade that way. And I can't treat any of my accounts differently from any of the other accounts, whether they're PAs or evaluations. I want to trade them exactly the same way. And so part of that process for me is finding the balance between where I apply my analysis and don't take a trade versus, taking it because it's an entry, even though I don't love the entry, according to my analysis. If there's no like really good objective reason to stay out of it, then I've got to take the trade. But if I have an objective reason to stay out of it, I can skip it. So like if the trade is going directly into my EMA, I don't have to take that trade. A lot of my losses lately, when I look back at my losses, are like the price is finally pushed above the EMA, and imagine like right here, price pushed above the EMA, and imagine there was a second entry right here, and the entry being triggered was going right into the EMA right after it crossed over. Like I don't have to take that trade. I can just say objectively, like, okay, I can treat the EMA like I treat the previous day close or the previous day low and those kinds of levels, and just say, okay, objectively, it can bounce off the EMA and take me out of the trade. So just finding a little bit better balance between having the reason to skip the trade versus take the trade, I think has kept me out of some losers this week, but has still allowed me to get wins. And, just like my stats say, I have 12 trades this week, all winners. 4 of them this week were the Alp Orb. And then the other 8 were my regular system. So I think the Alp Orb is going to really help me bring up my wins and losses, my win rate, because that will be 5 trades a week. And according to all of my data so far on the trade, it's like a 98% trade. So 2 times out of 100, it will lose. So that's, as close to a guaranteed 5 winning trades a week as I can possibly imagine to find. All right. I've got a new low here. First entry could be a second entry off of the open price here. But again, I just don't like being right between now the open and the previous day close. If it triggers, there's just not a whole lot of room. So these are the areas where I'm just going to stay clear and sit on my hands. Even though there is technically room for 11 ticks here, I don't like these situations where I'm in between these levels and there's not a whole lot of room or margin for error. I'd rather just be patient and wait for my spots. And part of me being able to be this patient now is also attributed to me being able to take this new trade setup at the New York Open. Because now that I know I'm getting 5 trades a week, so if this triggers down here, I mean, there's plenty of room, but it's just not an area I like to trade in right now. I'm just going to be observing these and seeing when there's enough room technically for the scalp, but there's potential of support here and resistance here, and like which way is it going to break. I'm just going to sit on my hands. The other thing I'm doing differently, Sagi, now that you're back, is I'm not going to let myself get stopped out when the trade goes against me on any of my accounts. I don't care if it's my quote unquote best PA account or not. Like, I'm going to treat them all the same. And so if a trade goes against me, I really should just make it so that automatically my stop gets placed way out of the way. Because right now, it still gets placed where it was placed. It's something I'm probably just going to have to do over the weekend. But if it goes against me and goes above my bar where I used to get stopped out, I will just try to work out of the trade. I will try to add a contract and scalp new trades along the way in the same direction and just try to work my way out of the trade. And if I blow up an account, then I blow up an account, because the other reason I'm doing that now is, again, back to losing that PA2 that was close to a payout. And then all the fear of, messing up the account, not getting the payout and all that stuff. I lost the account anyway. And so, like that was like a really slow death for that account. I didn't imagine being 80% and randomly, trading different accounts that I would get 4 losses in a row on one account. But the thing was, I was so close to a PA that I was always trading that account first. Well, 4 days in a row, my first trade of the day was a loss, and I ended up losing that account. And I didn't think that would happen. And part of that is because, really these accounts are all supposed to be treated the same. And so they're supposed to be randomly chosen or traded, like at random, where, the most chance for losses to be randomly distributed between the accounts. But when I'm taking the same account and trading it first every single day, it takes some of the randomness out of it, I think. So even though it's unlikely that my first trade of the day for 4 days in a row is going to be a loss, like that's how it went that stretch of trades, and 4 trades, and I blew up the account. So now I just decided, well, if that's going to happen because I'm going to trade those accounts like that, then what I might as well do is give myself a chance to work out of a trade when it goes against me. And in certain trading markets, I know not to do that. Like, if I was taking a long, down here somewhere, like, I don't know that I want to necessarily play that game because this thing could just be crushing to the downside all day. But if it's in like a reasonable area, or if there's like a level like that, I know if it goes against me, there's another level I could play off of above it or below it, then, that's maybe definitely an area where I want to do that. So I'm gonna have to judge it a little bit. I don't think I always want to do that, but if I'm mindful of where the other support resistance areas are, I think I could play that game a bit. We'll see how it goes. So he says, if things are working in the market, then it's okay to have new rules. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, for so long I traded a system for 3 years on ES where I didn't trade new rules. I was trading a really strict system, and I never deviated from it. I wasn't getting anywhere. So I think I just have to find what works for me. And as I evolve and as I see things, work or not work, then I can adjust. And then, if I adjust to something that doesn't work well, then I can always adjust back. But I think it's a constant kind of evolution. All right, so I wasn't really tracking it while it was happening, but I talked about this trade, new low here, first entry short, second entry short, and it failed. So if I had taken this trade, I would likely not have my stop in place, and I'd be having to try to work out of this trade. And yeah, there's kind of a level. It's approaching here. There's another level up here, and then obviously the top of the chart. So trading 2 contracts, the thing could go really far against me, and I could still have a chance to work out of it. But if this thing were to go all the way up here, chances are slim, right? So if it goes all the way up here and beyond, then definitely not. So, but I think exactly what I was talking about, where I'm able to kind of have reasons to stay out of trades. This was plenty of a good reason for me, was just being in between these 2 areas, not having a ton of room back to the previous day close. And even though there was technically enough room, it still didn't get there. And I've seen that plenty of times. So I'm just super careful in these areas now. If I was in this trade and I had moved my stop, then this would not feel good. The other thing I can always keep in mind too is I really love doing the measured moves. So we've gone beyond the measured move, which might be a sign of like, hey, this thing's going all the way back up. But I really like these measured moves because they just give an idea. So like on this trade number 2, not only did I have the resistance of the previous day close, but I had the resistance of a measured move right at that spot too. So that's an example of loving where I traded off that level. And look, it's not like I chose the correct market direction. I just chose a good enough resistance point for enough of a pullback to get my scalp. And that's where the That's where the strategy works really well, I think, is, or maybe even works the best, is when you are trading off of these kinds of levels. Then it's like, I mean, it feels almost guaranteed that that's when I get my wins. When I'm trading more in like an unknown area, there's not really a reason for a pullback in a particular place. That's the place where it gets a little bit more dicey. Or in these areas where there's kind of support and resistance in a tight spot, it's like, well, it could go either way. So anyway, so I can't trade this chart anymore. So I am now down to one chart, which is a much larger chart, which means much less entries. Haven't seen 100 lot here today so far. I was hoping he would stop in today, as he I saw caused a little bit of controversy yesterday with Alpine Trader and Nutty Bar. I was curious to hear his take on what their reactions were. I guess if he doesn't come in here, then I won't talk about it unless he comes in and wants to chat about that. So we'll see. I forget if I changed how many days were traded on P6. I think I did. Just look it up here. You guys, anyone trading Apex, notice that they changed the back office of the website and separated the evaluation charts and the PA charts? I think it's like much cleaner to have them separate. I kind of like it. So PA7, yeah, is correct, 16 days now, and PA6 is correct at 28 days. So yeah, I definitely updated those, I guess. Well, I don't know how many more opportunities I'm going to get with my regular system here. So what I'm going to do, I think, is look pretty quickly here to see if I can find any more charts I like. And if not, if I can't find any, then I will potentially switch to the 1 minute chart and trade the 1 minute chart kind of freelance with one of my evaluations. I think is what I'll probably do to get through the rest of the stream. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So let me, I'm just going to be here looking for other charts that are good for my 11 tick scalp only, not going for more. And if I can't find any, then that's what I'll do. I'll switch back to the 1 minute chart and just do it that way. I'm just going to turn my mic off while I'm looking for charts here. I kind of found one. It's got one loss in the overnight, but it's not terrible. I don't know why I always feel like if I even see one loss, it makes me not trust the chart. Let's turn this off for a second. Bring this back up real quick. All right. Just doing things like that to just make sure I don't show my full name on some accounts. All right. So for now, we'll watch this chart and see, even though it's got one loss in the overnight. I'll see if I like anything on it as it comes up. And so I actually have another chart here that I like. All right, so I mean, I've got I've got three charts I kind of like. Two better than one of them, just because one of them has a loss in the overnight. I don't know if I should just keep looking for another one. just keep looking here. All right, so I've got two for sure, and then I'll see if I'm gonna play this other one or not. Kind of annoying when you lose charts and can't find more. But it's just part of the deal. It's how the system works. It's also part of my risk management, because if I can't find more, then I can't trade more. So, but I just found another one. So let's see. All right, so I've actually got three charts I can work off of. Actually, this is not what I wanted to do here. I wanted to do this. All right, so I've got this. That's the chart that I'm not using anymore. This one, and this one. All right. Halo Eraser, welcome, welcome, welcome back. Looking like another 100% day. Yeah, today's gone well so far. It was just, I had a couple charts that dropped off for my system, so I had to find some new ones. And so I just went through that process. And now I've got 3 charts to work off of again. But yeah, 2-0 for the day. Having a good week. I'm 12-0. My dog wants to get in my room here. How's your day going, Halo? You been trading today? Missed a trade, so no trades today. All right, well, no trades is always better than a loss. So, how late do you usually trade till? Usually 30 minutes before market close. Oh wow. Oh, do you start at New York Open, or what time do you start in the morning? New York Open. That's a long day. I used to do that. Well, I never traded the New York Open before. That's just my new thing this past week. But I used to always trade from a half hour after New York Open to a half hour before New York close. And then I decided those days were too long for me. I didn't like it. And then luckily I found the system where I was like, well, the system doesn't even work that good for that long anyway, typically on most days. So it gave me another reason to just say, hey, I'm just going to trade when the system works the best, which I love is only like the first couple hours. So it's a good excuse to get out and enjoy the rest of my day and not be tied to the computer. Halo Eraser says, yeah, I want to get as much screen time as possible, but I'm not so sure that is a positive thing. Yeah, I mean, it depends. It's always a battle. It's like that battle of like screen time to really learn and lock in something that works. And, especially if you're trading like a complicated system that you have to have a lot of rules and stuff, it helps to like ingrain all of that into you. But then at a certain point, I came to just the belief that the more time you're in the market, the more at risk you are. So I kind of like what I've been doing lately, where it's like, well, before it was 7 to 9:30, so 2.5 hours. Now I'm starting before 6:30 Pacific, just so that I'm ready with my orders where I want them to be and have everything on and ready to go for the New York Open. So yeah, now I'm going to be trading from basically, on the charts by 6:25 latest and then till 9 or 9:30. So now it's like 2.5 to 3 hours. But I guess I was kind of doing that anyways, because sometimes I'd stay on later. So, sometimes I'm staying on till 10 or 10:30. So, but I definitely like the shorter days. It feels like it doesn't take as much out of me for the rest of the day. And I also feel a little bit fresher just coming back the next day, which is weird, especially now that I'm starting earlier for the New York Open. Somehow I'm feeling more fresh, but I think it's also just because I have such a strong conviction on the New York Open trade now that I'm really starting to trust it. So I'm kind of, excited to start the day and start the day with that one first trade. I know the day will come where I get a loss on that trade, but if it's a 98% trade and you can count on winning 98 out of 100 times, if it holds true, then I know I'll blow up accounts at some point. Hopefully the timing of it just isn't right before a payout when I'm trading them on PA accounts. Halo Eraser says, yeah, FOMO's a bitch. If I end early, I feel like I'm missing out. I used to feel that way. Yeah. And it's interesting too, because, recently in the last week or two, maybe even 3, but definitely the last 2 weeks, like there's been like huge price action swings after I finished my day. And I come back and look at it later. I'm watching someone else's YouTube and seeing like these huge swings, or like, like recently, like the huge drops have happened in the afternoon. And I'm just like, wow, man, I'm missing all of that. Like, I wonder if there are trades in there for me. But I don't know. I guess it helps that I've been doing decently well with volume of trades and getting a decent amount of wins. So it's not making me feel that way, at least for right now. I'm also just like a slow and steady guy. So it's like I used to get 3 trades a week, and now I'm getting, like, where am I at? I can't see my stats. So I'm 12-0 for the week already. So it's like, just this week alone, I'm 4 times the amount of volume of trades I used to be for like 3 years. So, it's kind of easy for me to feel a little bit satisfied. Yesterday is a good example too, because yesterday I only traded, I traded from the open, and I was done by, I think I finished early, like 8:15 or something. Yeah, so 11:15 Eastern. I think I was done yesterday, and it was fine. I still had 3 trades yesterday, and I used to get in a whole week, and it was like they were wins, and I was able to just not care what happened the rest of the day. It's nice. All right, so I'm still just waiting for another potential trade on PA8. Kind of interesting because they're not like really a clear 2 legs other than the first one, which we've already gone well beyond. So not really sure what to think. We're hitting resistance kind of here. I mean, there's no reason to think it's not going to go up. Kind of broke through. It's tested it once. This is really the second time here that's touched the EMA. See if this level of support kind of holds. The other way of looking at it, I think, is maybe it's gone beyond the measured move, so maybe that's a reason why it won't go up further, but hard to say. I feel like I would definitely expect a retest of the high, though, the way the day looks. I wonder where 100 lot is today. He's been here every day, and then he puts out that video yesterday that makes a little bit of waves, and I don't see him today. I wanted to, really wanted to just ask him what his take on the reaction was. Yeah, switching the game plan and turning on evaluation 34 instead of PA8. Because I'd consider taking an entry here off this level if it were to trigger, just for 11 ticks. And if it doesn't work out on this account, I can live with it. In fact, I'm going to just make it one contract in case it moves against me. I can try to work out of it. If it even triggers. Oh, Halo Erasers saying video. Yeah, 100 lot has been testing out the, my daughter just woke up. He's been testing out the New York Open Alpine trade. And I guess he made a bot for it. He did a live stream of the trade yesterday, and there's a little bit of controversy with Alpine and Nutty Bar yesterday. So I was just curious to, if 100 lot was here today, I was going to just ask him how he felt about the reaction he got. But I don't really want to get into it if he's not here. So I'll just be looking for 11.6 here. If this triggers, the stop will get moved out of the way. This account will be at risk, as most of my accounts will be when I take trades now. I'm not going to be relying on my stop anymore. Okay, it worked real easy. So I just reduced risk and went to the evaluation just to be on the safe side, because I've seen these kind of setups not be great, but it fit my expectations of what the market was doing. So I just wanted to get the trade in, even though, one second here. All right, so it turns out, sounds like my daughter wants me to get her ready for the day here. She's going to go to school today, if she'll agree to it. Anyway, so let me just do this real quick. Trade 3, took it on Eval 34. I just did one contract, but it was plus low and ticks. I think this is another thing I want to just kind of do too is, if it's a trade that I like a little bit less, like maybe I just put on less risk. Maybe I put it on evaluation instead of a PA if I was planning on doing a PA, but just, still take the trade. Build confidence. So it's day 4 here. And let me just update my stats, and then I'm going to have to go get my daughter and get her up out of bed. So that'll take me a few minutes. So 3-0 for the day. 13-0 for the week. 190 wins overall. All right, so yeah, I gotta go get her. I'll be back. Shouldn't be too long, maybe 10 minutes. All right, I'm back. Let's see what we've got going on here. So yeah, I'm glad I took this trade. I mean, yeah, I think if I was, fixated on trading my PA next, then maybe I wouldn't have taken it just because it looks a little weird. But it made sense to me in terms of, I really believe that the market's going to want to retest the high. Been having a strong move up. It tested the EMA here after it went through it, here, and so had a little slip under, but it just felt like that was going to be a situation where it held, and it was a second entry to the long side. So a lot of good reasons to take the trade, and of course, trading on the evaluation just took a little bit of pressure off, and I even just lowered it to one contract just because I wasn't super confident in the trade, but I was more confident that if the trade went against me, I had multiple levels of support below it, so I knew I can add a contract and work my way out of it if I needed to. So that was kind of the thinking. So I'll go back and turn on PA8 for the next trade in case I see something I really like. Still got 3 charts I can trade off of. So 3 trades today and 5 accounts traded. I've really only got two accounts left to trade. The PA and one more evaluation, and all the accounts will have been traded. So okay, we've got a little bit of a sell-off. Another close below the EMA. And so, this will be kind of interesting here. So again, right at the same level. Almost got there. All right, so this is one of the times where I'm moving the stop, putting the account at risk. Let's see if it can work. All right, so I got the win. That was on PA8. This was a situation, I like the support level. Chart's been good for 11 ticks, and I had multiple support levels below it. So if it went against me, I felt pretty confident to move the stop. Even if I got taken out, I would have looked for another entry off of the open price, and if it kept going against me, off the previous day close price. Didn't obviously have to do any of that, but that was what I was thinking about. And so it gave me a lot of confidence to take the trade right there. So that was on P8 this time. And I did take that trade on 2 contracts. This previous trade, if it wasn't a 25K account, I would have done it with 2 contracts too. But just knowing that, is keeping in mind being able to add contracts, and knowing the drawdown is $1,000 less than the 50K account. Just want to make sure I had enough room to maneuver if it did go against me. But on a 50K account, there's plenty of room to maneuver with 2 contracts. So I wasn't worried about that, and that's why I was able to take it with 2 contracts on that account. So let's update things here. So this was day 4, traded on this account. And update my stats as well here. So 4-0 for the day. 14-0 for the week. And 191 wins for the year. I gotta say, I'm liking the way that's looking. It's much more in line with how I expect things to go. And I think I think for one, I think the price action is just kind of better and easier right now. For whatever reason, I'm feeling it more. And, getting plenty of setups. And then I think I'm just trusting my read more. I'm being more confident, trusting the reads, and having a backup plan. And I think the fact that I'm not taking the losses, if it goes against me, I haven't had to work out one yet, but the idea that the account is the risk, and I'm willing to risk the account, which is basically 200 of my real dollars, to be able to work out of a trade if it goes against me. It kind of makes it a little bit easier actually to take the trade, because if I'm wrong, as long as I know I have levels of where there could be support and I can add a contract around those levels and work out of something, it gives me more confidence to take the trade actually. And this one, the way it's set up, just felt a little bit more straightforward than this one. Just because of old price action rules I used to always have in mind. So this one felt like it could go up here, tick in, come back, tick somebody out, and then go up. Whereas this one felt reasonably straightforward. But even if it did come back and tick you out, I still felt like it was going back up. And then overall, my read is still that I still believe we're retesting the highs before the day is over. So with a move like this, it seems reasonable to think that that's what the market's trying to do. And then just going for 11 tick scalps, you can see it easily got that very easily. All right, so I've got 1 account left. So the next trade will be evaluation 29 if it comes up. Kind of curious to see what the price action looks like right now on the 1 minute chart. See, it's not where I would want to take a trade looking at the 1 minute. But it's definitely interesting trading off of the 1 minute. The few times I've done it recently, not, including like when the open goes against me at first, I can play back. I think it happened once on an Apex account, but when it goes against me and choosing where I'm adding on the 1 minute, it's felt pretty comfortable so far. If I have to add on one of my tick charts, I'm not sure what that will feel like in terms of choosing places to add, but I haven't really done a lot of testing on it. But we'll find out if I get into that situation. So, and overall, I know some of these wins are a bit smaller, but I always just imagine one day these will all be PA counts. And if they are all PA counts, I'd be up, 700 right now. I'm working towards payouts if that was the case. But all 3 PAs today got wins. They're all small, just slowly working towards my goals here. So I'm going to take the pressure off of myself. I don't need to get payouts by a certain time period, but what I do want to do is start loading up on the New York Open trade. Really want to do my best to take as much advantage of that trade as I can. So as I get more and more confident, I'm taking on more and more accounts. And then especially if this all leads to a payout at whatever point that is. If it's a 1500, I'll still be negative overall. If it's a 1500 payout, if I get a 2000 payout, I'll be basically break even, slightly negative by the time it happens. And if I get a combination of the 2 payouts, then I'll be green overall. So I feel like I'm kind of like taking like baby steps right now. It's like baby steps. It's like I can see the bigger picture of where I'm going with this. And, I'm 4.5 months in with this strategy and with NQ. So 4.5 months in, it's like I can see a glimmer of what I'm going to be able to do on a bigger scale. In the not too distant future, hopefully. And it's really just all about solidifying my 2 strategies now, solidify what I'm doing on this level, get a payout doing it this way, get more PAs doing it this way. And then once I've kind of proven to myself that I can do that, then I can kind of hopefully take it to the next level and go for bigger numbers, more accounts. More copy trading on the open, and even potentially a little bit of copy trading on the on the BS system, so that instead of just trading one account at a time, I probably want to trade a PA and an evaluation for every trade. Would be the next step. So we're slipping under a little bit here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see this as one leg down and then like a second leg down from here. That wouldn't totally surprise me. But if that happens, I still kind of believe that it can then bounce up here. I mean, it's kind of looking like a head and shoulders kind of thing. So my understanding of a head and shoulders is if it breaks the neckline, then it probably goes the distance of the first leg, which coincides with my measured move. So it probably wouldn't be a bad trade to go short if I was freelancing right now. I'm curious what it looks like here. Less clear here to me, but on the tick chart, it seems pretty clear to me that if it slips below, I wouldn't be surprised for it to at least get to the open. And, we broke out of the open and we haven't come back to retest that yet. So a lot of times I just noticed that when it breaks through a key level like that, I mean, you see the opens here, broke right through. A lot of times it has to come back and retest an area like that before it will go and finish what it was trying to do. So just observations I've had. See if that plays out. It's funny because at a certain point I was thinking that I wanted to just trade bigger contracts because on these accounts, because I think less trades gets me there quicker the way I'm trading, especially right now. But having the idea of not taking the loss at the stop loss below the signal bar and wanting to work out of the trade, if I'm going in for 4 contracts on the initial entry, then that 2,500 drawdown can go by real quick when it pulls against you. And then if you add a 5th contract, it can really go quick. So it just seems like I want to test out the strategy of not accepting a loss below the signal bar and work on being able to add a contract. So I can't really go above 2 contracts comfortably on a 50K account and be able to add contracts. I think that's my hunch so far. So I want to see how that plays out. If it plays out, when it happens, how things go. But I'm willing to do it on these accounts because, I learned my lesson trying to be too careful on a PA account just because it's getting close to a payout. Just because you're close doesn't mean you're going to get the payout. So it doesn't really help to start trading more timid or more defensive. It actually helps to be a little bit more offensive and just go for it. That's my feeling right now, based on last week. All right, I'm going to go say bye to my daughter before she goes to school, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Back again. Daughter is off to school for the first time this week. Have some freedom for a few hours. All right, so it seems like it's just going to maybe possibly grind down to around between the open, maybe the measured move. I haven't missed anything as far as setups with my system. And it's already almost 9. So I had one chart that I was still potentially going to try to play for more than 11 ticks, but I'm actually going to change it and make it just be for 11 ticks only at this point and not push it getting later into the session. On this chart, I have a new high and first entry here. So the next time it ticks above a bar, it would be a second entry. So I'll watch this chart just in case it sets up somewhere that I like it. The legs aren't nearly as clear on this chart as they are on this chart. But it seems like it's trying to do what I'm expecting. Just kind of chop and grind down. What does the 1 minute chart look like? Yeah. I mean, the 1 minute chart looks like a new high. First entry, second entry long, that's failing. There's even more reason. I'm still thinking about and considering when and why I'll trade on the 1 minute chart in a discretionary kind of subjective fashion and not according to any system. I've only done that one time so far on my Apex accounts. Worked out that time. But I'm also not feeling like I have a real need to do that right now at this moment, just because of the way the day's going. Yeah, I mean, I could, I guess, reasonably say I can do that on evaluations and it'd be fine to do that, but I'd still want to just pick and choose my spots. So here, your first entry, second entry short below here on the 1 minute, potentially setting up. I mean, I do have a thesis of it going down here, but just not feeling the need. It's going to trigger a second entry on this chart, but it's going to go right into the EMA. So that's an objective reason where I'm not taking the trades right now. Looks like it's going to work anyway. Yeah, that worked for 11 ticks already. But I'm not taking trades objectively into those areas on my system. Just waiting and seeing. I mean, price has just been chopping and slow for a while now. I still do overall think we're retesting the high of the day, but I really was getting the feeling that we were going to come down here, either to the open or to here. So if it comes up shy of that, it's even more reason to think we're going to retest the high of the day, is how I would look at it. But yeah, just feeling good for the day. I mean, to have another 4.0 day, 14.0 for the week, having the Alpine Orb trade continue to work. Just if like, it's hard to not feel like this week it's just like starting to all come together for me. But I know the second I've ever started to feel that way, I hit a wall and just get crushed, by the market not long after. So I don't want to get too high about the way I'm feeling about my trading right now. It's really easy to go like 14.0 and feel like or think, oh, I finally figured it all out, but the market is different every day. So, and then I also think that just where I'm at in my head every day is different. So some days I just see things clearly and I'm patient and I choose to skip entries at the right times to skip, and other days it's not like that at all. Like other days I skip the ones that work and then I take the ones that don't work. So it's just like you never know how long you're gonna feel like you and your system are in alignment with what the market's doing versus when that's not going to be true, and whether you recognize it or not. So just trying to stay really even and just go with the flow, keep doing the things that are seemingly working for me and try to avoid the things that seem to not work for me in the past. And I'd say, definitely everything I'm doing right now is like a combination of a whole lot of different traders I've picked up things from, and just the experience of trading futures for over 3 years now. And it does feel like it's coming together. But I gotta go back to saying, I just know that even no matter how much it feels like, I'm doing the right things and it's coming together, there will always be days where it's just not going to be that way. And it's like, what do I do when I run into those days? Like, how do I react and how do I come back from it? I just had a few weeks that were pretty tough. If you go back the last couple of weeks or few weeks, past month, whatever it's been, you'll see a whole lot of losses, way under 80% in some cases for the week. And then, and then this week, almost all of a sudden, I'm 14.0. And it's funny because I don't even feel like I'm 14.0. Like I really don't. Like it doesn't seem like I've done 14 winning trades this week. And I think I had like a short day on, yesterday was a shorter session. I think Monday, if I remember, was a shorter session too. So to think that I'm getting 14 trades in really not a lot of time at the charts is also pretty awesome. But then I look at, the balances of these accounts, and it's not, there's nothing impressive, on any of these accounts. There's nothing impressive about where they are, balance wise, profit wise, or anything. So that definitely keeps me grounded as well, because I'm not anywhere where I want to be. I still got a long way to go. I just know that if I can keep on this track and keep seeing these kinds of results, my confidence will get better and I'll trust what I'm doing even more. And then, I'll have the ability to either trade more contracts or trade more accounts at a single time, and get to the point where I can take more than one trade on an account in a day. Because right now, if I get one more trade and I get it on this evaluation 29, like that's
that's my day. I'll be done, win or loss. That'll be the end of my day today. So at some point, when I'm, trusting a little bit more and just more confident, then I'll open myself to saying, okay, I could take 2 trades a day on each account, and maybe instead of one account per trade, maybe I'll be at 2 accounts per trade, and so that will really let me start to compound profits. So I have a plan. I know where I'm headed, and this is just like a small kind of reminder of what I'm trying to accomplish. It's like just showing me what's possible, and then I can just expand. Actually, I wasn't really paying attention, but there is a first entry short, second entry short that just triggered on this chart. I already missed the entry. And there it goes. Would have worked. I just wasn't looking at that time. I was thinking about my accounts. I was over here looking at drawdowns and things. Because this one I had, I was around $200 in drawdown at one point. So now I'm at 450 plus another 150, 550. So I'm at 600 now. So getting a little bit better. Yeah, too bad I wasn't looking there. That would have been a trade to definitely take. Or what that looks like on the 1 minute. Yeah. No reason to take it here, but it looks great here. It actually seems like I only got 10 ticks on this trade. PA8. And just look at the entries on the actual account. And turn this off for a second, just to switch accounts. So I just want to look at the entry. The high was 0275. So it should be in at 03. So I was supposed to be in at 03, and I was in at 03 and a quarter. So I had, again, 1 tick of slippage on the entry. So I only got actually 10 ticks. Actually, I only got 10 ticks on that one, now that I'm looking at it. I think this was right before I had to leave for my daughter, so I didn't put that all together, but I was just looking at my profits and realizing I only got $92. I should have got $102 for 11 ticks. So only 10 ticks. That's something I'm noticing has been happening recently ever since I updated the copy trader. Like the copy trader has been great for closing my trades, but it's giving me a little bit of slippage now on the entries, it seems like, more than it used to. So I'm going to watch that and see how that continues to play out. I'm just going to switch this back to the sim leader account. So if that continues to be a thing where I'm continuously getting bad entries, or worse entries than I should get, then I might have to just turn off the screen all these times like I'm doing and switch the accounts every time I'm going to switch accounts to a different thing. The problem is, it's just like when I switched it to the valuation, I was able to do that real easily because it was just in the copier window. In the copier window, I don't have to like flip anything off on YouTube or anything. But if I have to do that, and it might cause me to miss trades if I want to switch accounts at the last moment. So I don't know. Or I just accept the slippage, and that's just the cost of me having the ease of use in terms of being able to trade for YouTube. Yeah, so price has been basically doing what I expected. I wasn't really expecting this move up here, but overall, we're now retesting the open, which is what I said I expected it to happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get to the full measured move, because there could probably be a bounce off the open. And then my expectation is it will then move on for the retest of the highs of the day. Session high. Well, I still got 3 charts, so it's interesting that the charts are holding up. And do have a first entry, potential second entry to set up. The question for me will be if it sets up above the open. Because if it sets up at the measured move or the previous day close, that's back in the zone of an area where I might not want to take any trades. But if it sets up above, I might consider it even though it's short of the measured move. So I'm just watching this feel it out. Again, it's another level where my expectation is we're going to retest the high of the session. And there's definitely levels to think I'd be able to add if it worked against me at first. So just watching to see how this finishes here. So like if it closes below and then the next candle moves up, also I'd really have to think about it. Seems like it's trying to close below. All right, so close below. So if it pushes up through here, I'm not sure I really trust it. I would have preferred for this candle to close above the opening price and then get in. But I'm just going to have to, again, still feel this and see if it feels like the momentum's just going to push through and get the 11 ticks if it does go up. A lot of times I've seen that if the trigger's still above, it's still good. It's also early in the count of the candle. No, I actually pushed the button, but I pushed it too late. Let's see if this works. I pushed it right before it just went. All right, would have worked. I decided I was going to take it the super last second, and I waited too long. Look at that, worked just enough. And now maybe it's going to close below and go to the measured move. I don't know, but that's why I was hesitant on this one. I don't like the close below the opening price. That's why. But it makes sense to take it when it goes above here because it's acting like a bounce off the open. And typically you will get, or I will get a bounce enough for the scalp size that I go for. So a little bit of a missed opportunity, but it's okay. But I kind of like the way I'm reading these things, and I'm okay with missing this trade. This one is not as black and white as the other trades I've taken today. So again, just price moving pretty slowly, doing the things I've been expecting so far for the most part. And working on a 4 a day. Have just one account left to trade with if something sets up the way I like. But already feeling good about the day. I mean, these aren't big numbers, but it's about seeing the system work and then building up from there. So the more I can have results like this, the more, especially the results like for the week, 14-0, the more I can see these kinds of consistent results, the more I can lean in. Yeah, I mean, and the Alp Orb is just a crusher. I mean, this thing 7 in a row since I started using it. And, it'll be interesting to see how far I can take it before that first loss comes. And, nothing's 100%, so a loss will come eventually. And unfortunately, when the loss comes, whatever accounts I am trading with it the loss will mean it blew up the accounts. So we'll see when and where that happens, at what point. But my hope, for starters, is that before any losses come, that this account will pass. This is the one account where I'm only taking the Alpine Orb trades on that. So I'm halfway to the target to pass the evaluation just using that one trade alone. And I've traded it for 7 days. So just 2 contracts per trade. So just slow and steady. But this account is kind of the replica of what Alpine Trader has been doing on his accounts that has led him to getting the massive payouts he's getting. So this is just the smallest version of trying to emulate what he does and seeing if it brings me all the way. All right, let's see on this other chart. There's a first entry long, second entry long above this candle going into the EMA. That's why I wouldn't take that one, even though it's a bounce off the open. It's kind of in between two objectively, two objective pivot points or whatever you want to call it. So I'm not taking the trade with not much room there. So I'll see if this chart holds up. And I wasn't watching this chart, but this chart looks like it had the same situation, first entry long, second entry long, with plenty of room above the EMA here. This would have really been the chart to take the trade if I was wanting to take this trade. If I had been paying attention to this one, I think I would have taken this trade. Just plenty of room to the highs here, to the EMA, to the high of the bodies, right off the open. I just wasn't focused on that chart at the time. So that's too bad I missed that. I would have liked that one. 46 tick bar, reasonable in size. At this point, still watching to see what happens with this chart, if it fails or not. So I'm not going to trade too much longer here. I'll give it another 10 or 15 minutes maybe, and then I'm going to call it for a day. I'm already, I'm happy with the day, 4-0. And it's just really part of my risk management strategy to not trade for a long time. And that way I don't get unnecessary losses. It's obviously making my progress a bit slower to not keep going on days where all signs point to things continuing to work and having a decent read on the market. But it's also lunch hour, things are moving pretty slow, and I just from my experience trading for the last 4 months, I just know that the market has a way of tending to change around 10 a.m. Pacific after the lunch hour, and a lot of times things that are working in the morning aren't working anymore in the afternoon, maybe vice versa. But I also just feel better when I stop around this time for the rest of the day and do other things, and just gets my mind off the charts. And I just been feeling better about trading since I started doing that in general. So I'm still watching to see what happens with this second entry. Looks like it's going to trap in shorts here and move up now. That's my guess. Trap in shorts right at the opening price. A lot of people don't know where the open price is. They don't realize that's a level of support or resistance because they don't have it on their chart. And, if you're just looking to the left, there's nothing clearly indicating a level there other than the fact that I have an indicator that marks the line for me. And there it goes. So if someone took a short off a candle like this, for instance, ticked one underneath, then they just got trapped. So this chart stays good now. What's today, the 18th? I think one of my evaluations renews tonight at midnight. Let's see here. Yeah, April 19th. Account 33 renews tonight. So I'll be paying an extra $30. Keep this evaluation going tonight. And so out of 20 days or 22 days, trading days, whatever it's been since I got it, I've traded 10 of the days. So I've traded about half of the available trading days on it. That's part of the thing, because I'm just rotating accounts. Sometimes I just don't get to all of the accounts. This is interesting. first entry short, second entry short here under here, engulfing directly into the open. So I wouldn't have taken this trade. I wasn't watching it, but I wouldn't have taken it. Got a similar situation here where it hasn't worked for the second entry long quite yet. Or no, it has. It has now. The second entry long worked. Now it's triggered. First entry short. I think it was already. No, it's not a second entry short here. It's a new low. Never mind. So really it's just this one. See if this one works for the short. This is the thing. If it's just hanging around this area, I'm not going to get trades in the next. Oh, should be finishing right now. So let's see. So I have evaluation 33 is resetting. Or not resetting, but renewing. And then the next one doesn't renew until the 25th. Two accounts on the 25th. 34 and 35. So 35 is the one that's blown. So I'll get a new fresh 50K evaluation on the 25th. And then 34 is the 25K. So maybe I need to just push harder on that so I don't get charged another $30 on evaluation for an account size I'm not really wanting to continue with in general. So maybe I'll just go for it and try to pass it before it renews or blow it up one way or the other and just get another 50K. Basically the same price. It's looking like it wants to make this second entry short fail. That was right into the open. Just kind of want to see how this plays out. For anyone that might still be here, 80% discount still going on. You can use my code or any other. 80% discount till April 30th, 1 day pass as well. You can see I don't care about the 1 day pass. I'm just trading my normal system, and it takes much longer than 7 days to pass regardless. And I'm just, I'm not concerning myself with the 1 day pass. I want to prove to myself that my system works. And then once I know my system works, then maybe I can be more aggressive with the valuations and try to pass them faster, just knowing that I can trade my PAs with my normal system and actually be able to get payouts, which I have not been able to do yet. So like and subscribe if you haven't already. I stream every day at starting around 10 a.m. Eastern. I had a suggestion to schedule my live streams every day so that anyone that's subscribed can get a notification, I think is how it works, when the stream actually starts. So I will see if I can figure that out and try to do that. I think the thing was, I think I did try that once and I couldn't figure out how to actually start it on the same thing the next day. So like when I started my stream, it was like still separate of that, but maybe I'll look into it. Maybe I'll look into it over the weekend and try it for Monday. Let's see, did this work already? Being at 75.25. 72.25. Yeah, that's 12 ticks. So it would have worked for 11 on the short side. For no more than 11. If I take this entry and I miss, if I get a slippage of 1 tick for my entry, I potentially have a losing trade coming up because it only went 12 ticks. And I would need it to go 13 to capture 11. Or would it have closed me out on the 12th tick still, and I would have just got 10 ticks? Maybe that's what would have happened. I think it's still maintaining my exit order correct level, but it's just giving me slippage on the entry. So I think that's actually what happened. So I wouldn't get a loss in that case, maybe. Hard to say. All right, it's 9:30. This thing has just been in chop zone for a half hour. What's the 1 minute look like? Complete chop zone. If I didn't have my suspicions that this thing was just going to take off to the top side, I might place a limit order for a short like up here and just see if it can tick me in and go down 8 ticks. But look at this. I don't know, on a day like today where I've got 4 trades in the bag, and going back down, I wasn't even able to get up to this top resistance. I just don't really feel the need to play with it. So this is gonna now eventually try to hit that measured move. Interesting. Okay. What's it gonna do at the previous day close? It's just gonna go right through all of this. Okay. Let's see. I guess the argument could be made that it needs a retest of the lows too. I mean, that would be interesting. Be a really strange looking 2 legs. What if it's supposed to do that? I mean, there's an argument made that it needs to retest the highs, but there's also an argument to be made that it needs to retest the lows. So, to me, that's why this time of day could get really confusing. Bounce off the previous day close. Made this measured move. So is it really going to do that measured move down like that? Still got 3 charts. It's like on one hand, I'm tempted to stick around and just see if something sets up I like. But then at the same time, I kind of feel like I'm just tempting fate. So again, this area is always interesting to me when we're between like a previous day close and an open level. It's like, is it going to get stuck in here? Is it going to just strongly reject like it looks like off of the previous day close again? Which was, I mean, that's the level where there's been a reaction. The opening price hasn't had a strong reaction. There's a little bit of support here. But the previous day close, it went right through it, and then resistance broke out. And so it looks like the support stuck. I mean, if this thing breaks out of here and doesn't get trapped, I'd say we're going to the highs. I haven't looked at the daily. So, isn't there? Yeah. Market's definitely looking bearish overall at the moment. But considering it was a breakout of the range, just still wouldn't be surprised to see it just find support somewhere and just go whoosh, all the way back up. Always hard to say. All right, I don't know. I'm just feeling like I should end it. This is around the time I really just don't want to be trading after. So I'm going to call it here. Be happy with my 4-0 day. Be happy with my small wins across the majority of my accounts. Only one account didn't get a trade today. And yeah, so 7-0 for the Alpine Orb. And we'll see if I can finish out the week tomorrow with a 5-0 week on that one. And today is 4-0 overall, 14-0 for the week, and 191 wins and 45 losses. I never did check to see. I'm sure that's still only 81%, but do the math and see here. Yeah, 81% stands. We'll take quite a few more wins to get that to move up to 82% at this point. 236 total trades for the year. So all these numbers are just telling me I'm headed in the right direction. Just keep doing what I'm doing. And I think I definitely learned some valuable lessons in the last few weeks. I'm only 4.5 months into trading this strategy, the overall strategy, the BS system, and trading on NQ. 4.5 months in, it feels like I'm headed in the right direction. That's what I'd say. I been close to payouts on PAs so many times with the 8 accounts I've had so far, and I know I'm gonna just break through that ceiling. It's coming. I don't know when it's coming, and it's going to come slowly because I'm just doing this in a very slow, methodical way. But I do believe that once I break through that first time, it'll give me a lot of confidence to really start pushing things and really going for it. Because at the end of the day, the whole goal is not to just be trading, but to be making money. So I'm not making money, and I want to be making money. And but I know that's just going to come with me locking down the system that I'm trading, and the Alp Orb is definitely going to be the way it looks. It seems like it's going to be a major contributor to making it happen finally. So maybe that was just the last piece of the puzzle I needed to put together to have kind of a versatile, dynamic, kind of multi-pronged approach and strategy to making trades happen, leading to payouts. So getting rejected again here. So yeah, I don't want to get into watching all this. I'll just see what happens later. So thanks for watching. Appreciate everyone that's joined me here today, and hope you'll like and subscribe to keep tabs on me as I move forward in my journey, and hoping to work towards my first ever Apex payout at some point and see if I can become a profitable and successful trader. I have not been one to date, and even while I've not been a terrible trader, I've been just a mediocre, decent trader, and it's never been good enough to be profitable. So at best, I'm break even a lot of times, and at worst, I lose money. So join me, follow me, and subscribe. And thank you for anyone that's using my code. There's been some people out there that have used it, and just that little bit definitely helps me, so I appreciate it. And I have said it all. All right, I'm out of here. Look out for my review video. I'll get that together shortly and get that up. And I'll be back at it tomorrow to trade the New York Open at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. And we'll be starting the stream again at approximately 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. on the West Coast. All right, I'm out.